Have you ever felt like life just keeps throwing curveballs at you? One moment everything seems fine, and the next, you're facing a challenge that feels completely overwhelming. It's a universal feeling, that sense of being knocked down and wondering if you'll ever get back up. But what if I told you that these moments, the ones that test us the most, are also the ones that hold the greatest potential for our growth? What if the sourest lemons life gives us can actually be turned into something sweet? Today, we're diving deep into the incredible power of the human spirit. We'll explore heartfelt journeys and inspiring stories of people who didn't just survive their hardships, they thrived because of them. These aren't just tales of overcoming obstacles. They are powerful testaments to how a shift in mindset can fundamentally change your reality. It's about learning to see adversity not as a roadblock, but as a catalyst for profound personal transformation. Let's start with the story of a man named James. James had a successful career, a loving family, and a life that, from the outside, looked perfect. Then, in his early 40s, he was diagnosed with a degenerative disease that slowly began to take away his mobility. The news was devastating. He fell into a deep depression, mourning the life he was losing. He saw his future as a dark tunnel with no light at the end. For months, he felt trapped by his diagnosis, defined by his limitations. One day, while struggling with a simple task that he once took for granted, something inside him snapped. He was tired of feeling sorry for himself. He realized that while he couldn't control his physical condition, he could control his response to it. This was his lemon, and he decided he was going to do something with it. This was the pivotal mindset shift. Instead of focusing on what he couldn't do, he started focusing on what he could do. He began small. He learned to use assistive technology, not as a sign of weakness, but as a tool for empowerment. He reconnected with his passion for writing, something he had let slide during his busy career. He started a blog to share his experiences, his fears, and his small daily victories. He wrote with brutal honesty and a surprising amount of humor. He wasn't just chronicling his decline. He was documenting his journey of rediscovery. To his surprise, people started responding. Others living with chronic illnesses, caregivers, and people simply struggling with their own life challenges found solace and inspiration in his words. His blog grew into a vibrant online community, a space for support and shared strength. James had found a new purpose. His disease, the very thing he thought had ended his life, had actually opened a door to a more meaningful existence. He often says, "My body may be weaker, but my spirit has never been stronger. This challenge didn't break me. It remade me." James's story perfectly illustrates our first key idea, embracing adversity as a catalyst for growth. It's a concept that sounds simple, but it's incredibly difficult to practice when you're in the thick of it. When we face a crisis, our natural instinct is to resist, to fight it, to wish it would just go away. We see it as an enemy. But what if we tried to see it as a teacher? Think about how a muscle grows. It needs resistance. It needs to be torn down a little to be built back stronger. Our character, our resilience, our wisdom, they all grow in the same way. The easy, comfortable times are wonderful, but they don't forge our strength. It's the difficult times, the moments of pressure and struggle, that reveal what we're truly made of and force us to become more. Now let's look at another story. This one about a young entrepreneur named Maya. Maya poured her life savings and years of hard work into opening her dream cafe. It was a beautiful, cozy spot, and for the first 6 months it was a huge success. The community loved it. Then, a global crisis hit, and like many small businesses, she was forced to close her doors indefinitely. Her dream crumbled before her eyes. The debt was piling up, and the uncertainty was crushing. She felt like a complete failure. She had put everything on the line, and it seemed like she had lost it all. This was her lemon, a big, bitter one. She could have given up, declared bankruptcy, and walked away with a broken heart and a story of what could have been. But after the initial shock and despair, Maya's survival instincts kicked in. She looked at her empty cafe, not as a monument to her failure, but as a collection of resources. She had a commercial kitchen, a stock of high-quality coffee beans, and a list of loyal customers. Her mindset shifted from, "I've lost everything," to, "What can I do with what I have right now?" She pivoted. Fast. She started a coffee bean subscription service, roasting and delivering fresh beans directly to people's homes. She used social media to offer virtual coffee tasting workshops. She partnered with a local baker to create weekend brunch boxes for contactless pickup. She wasn't just trying to survive, she was innovating. The response was overwhelming. Her customers, who missed their daily visits to the cafe, were thrilled to support her in this new way. Her subscription service took off, reaching people far beyond her local neighborhood. When she was eventually able to reopen her cafe, she didn't just go back to the old way of doing things. She now had 2 successful business models running in parallel. Her business was more resilient, more diverse, and more profitable than ever before. Maya often reflects on that period of crisis. "Losing my cafe felt like the end of the world," she says. "But it forced me to get creative in ways I never would have otherwise. It pushed me out of my comfort zone and made me a much smarter business owner. In a strange way, that crisis was the best thing that ever happened to my business." Both James and Maya faced what seemed like insurmountable obstacles. One faced a personal health crisis, the other a professional one. But their journeys share a common thread: the conscious decision to change their perspective. This is the heart of resilience. It's not about being immune to pain or hardship. It's about acknowledging the pain, feeling it, and then choosing how you move forward. This mindset shift isn't a one-time event. It's a continuous practice. It's about waking up every day and choosing to focus on possibilities instead of limitations. It's about asking yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this make me stronger? What opportunity is hidden within this challenge? This doesn't mean you should ignore your feelings of sadness, anger, or fear. Those emotions are valid and necessary parts of the process. Toxic positivity, the idea that you should just think positive and ignore everything bad, is not helpful. True resilience is about holding 2 things at once: the reality of the struggle and the belief in your ability to navigate it. It is about being realistic about the lemons, acknowledging they are sour, while also being creative enough to see the potential for lemonade. So how can we cultivate this resilient mindset in our own lives? It starts with self-awareness. Pay attention to your thoughts when you face a setback. Do you immediately jump to conclusions of failure and despair? Do you blame yourself or others? The first step is to simply notice these patterns without judgment. Next, consciously challenge those negative thought patterns. When your mind says, "I can't handle this," try asking, "What's one small step I can take right now?" When your mind says, "This is a disaster," try asking, "What is one thing I can learn from this situation?" You are essentially retraining your brain to look for solutions and opportunities, instead of just focusing on the problem. Another powerful tool is gratitude. When everything seems to be going wrong, finding things to be grateful for can feel impossible. But it's a practice that can radically shift your perspective. It could be as simple as being grateful for a sunny day, a good cup of coffee, or a supportive friend. Gratitude grounds you in the present and reminds you that even in dark times, there is still good in the world and in your life. And perhaps most importantly, remember that you don't have to go through it alone. Both James and Maya, in their own ways, relied on community. James built one, and Maya was supported by one. Reaching out for help, whether it's to friends, family, a therapist, or a support group, is a sign of immense strength, not weakness. Sharing your burden makes it lighter and allows others to offer you perspective and support you might not find on your own. If you're ever struggling, please know there are resources available and people who want to help. Seeking professional help is a brave and powerful step toward healing. The stories we've shared today are not about extraordinary superheroes. They are about ordinary people who made an extraordinary choice, the choice to define their circumstances instead of letting their circumstances define them. They chose to see their challenges not as the end of their story, but as the beginning of a new, more meaningful chapter. So, the next time life hands you a lemon, take a moment, acknowledge its sourness, feel the sting, but then remember James, remember Maya, remember the incredible, resilient power that lies within you. Ask yourself, what can I make with this? You might just be surprised at the sweet, refreshing, and life-changing lemonade you create. Your journey is your own, and every challenge is an invitation to discover just how strong you truly are. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey today. I hope these stories have ignited a little bit of hope and inspiration for you. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and subscribe for more content on resilience and personal growth. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Share a time when you turned a lemon into lemonade. Your story could be the one that inspires someone else. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.